What if the reason you still feel stuck is not because you lack faith, but because you are trying to change too much at once? What if real transformation, mental, emotional, and spiritual, does not come from chasing a new sermon, a new prayer, or a different verse every few days, but from one truth repeated until it becomes part of you? A man once said, "I read so much scripture, but nothing seems to stay with me." He wasn't lazy, and he didn't lack faith. He was simply scattered. One day, he focused on peace, the next day on healing, the next day on provision. His heart was sincere, but his attention never stayed in one place long enough for truth to take root. Many believers live exactly that way. Jesus revealed a principle that explains this more deeply than most people realize. In Matthew 6:22, he said, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." That is not just poetic language, it is a spiritual law. What you focus on consistently begins to fill you. Not merely what you admire, not merely what you agree with, but what you keep before your eyes and in your mind long enough to become your inner default. Neuroscience now confirms the same pattern. The brain changes fastest when focus is narrow, repeated, and sustained. Scattered attention produces weak pathways. Focused repetition produces strong ones. This is why one repeated fear can build anxiety, one repeated lie can shape identity, and one repeated scripture can slowly reshape your emotions, your responses, and even your sense of self. The Bible has been teaching this all along. Joshua 1:8 says, "The word should not depart from your mouth." Proverbs says, "to keep it before your eyes." Romans 12:2 says, "Transformation comes through the renewing of the mind." In other words, change does not begin with behavior. It begins with what you repeatedly hold in view until it starts to govern the way you think. This is why one verse practiced deeply can be more powerful than 100 verses skimmed lightly. Seeds do not grow because they are thrown everywhere. They grow because they are planted in one place, watered consistently, and protected long enough to develop roots. Faith works the same way. Many people assume their faith failed, when in reality it was never practiced long enough to become stable. That is why giving one verse 21 days matters. In the beginning, your mind resists. Old pathways do not surrender quietly. But with repetition, the verse starts surfacing faster. Under pressure, your brain begins reaching for truth instead of fear. What started as effort slowly becomes instinct. Information becomes internalization, and internalization becomes identity. So, here is the invitation. Choose one scripture that speaks directly to your current struggle. Speak it out loud every day. Keep it before your eyes. Return to it when resistance comes. Do not rush the process. God is not trying to flood you with noise. He is trying to fill you with light, and light enters when your focus becomes single. God bless you.